Well, good day, Tubes. How's she hanging? Better here, I'm gonna say. Got a little adventure story for you. A couple days ago, I did something I shouldn't have, and I've done it before, and I shouldn't have, and I just never thought about it. But I have a bit of a, I guess it's an intolerance to caffeine, too much caffeine, and it makes my heart do funny things. Did it again the other night, never even thought about it. And it's so weird because, like, if I have something, what I had was a nice cappuccino from Tim Hortons. There's quite a bit of caffeine in them. I think a large has like 200 milligrams. You're only supposed to have maximum 400 milligrams for an adult, apparently, a day. So it's only half, but I don't think I'm metabolizing it as fast as I should. It stays in my body too long. And so what happened was the next morning, it always seems to do this, the next morning it wakes me up with like my heart like beating like really irregular, right? It's not like a nice boom, boom, boom. I'm just like kind of like that, right? If you can understand that. Still got the thing on too. I'll show you that in a minute. So yeah, I woke up like that and I'm like, oh God, here we go again. Oh, it was that stupid ice cap. God, I shouldn't have had that, thinking. I'm like, oh man. And of course, you know, that day I had plans to do a burial. I had a burial to do for the next day. So we got things going outside. I'm still like, you know, pounding. It doesn't really usually bother me, except you can just feel it like all of a sudden you're like, there, you know, like it's beating, but it's not a regular beat. It's an irregular beat. So anyways, we started working and got things, the snow cleared that we had to. Dylan was out helping me. It was this co-op week, so he's out helping me, which was good. I'll tell you why in a minute too. He was out helping me anyway, so we got the stuff cleared and then got the plywood laid down, and man, I'm like, oh boy, this is really bothering me today. Dale is not feeling too good. And I'm like, oh, I'll try to keep going here, but so it's making me shiver even think about it. It's cold in here though. So anyways, we got it cleared off, found out what we had to dig, got all the plywood down, had the trailer in the right spot. I dug the first little bit just to bust through the top because, you know, he hasn't really done that yet. So bust through the top of any of the hard frost. Started, I did like half a trailer. I'm like, okay, there you go. And I like get down off the tractor and I wanted to clear between some monuments where, you know, people be walking through or something because you can't get the snowblower into there. Pardon me, you can't get the snowblower into there to clear that. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just start shoveling. Man, I started shoveling and all of a sudden everything was like, I'm like, holy, whoa, I had to like come over to the monument and like just kind of stand on it to hold me up for a minute. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're all right again. So I went and did some more, and then all of a sudden, and he was up digging, filling the trailer. And I just looked over, I'm like, Dill, and I'm starting to like go down. I went down to my knees, I'm like, Dill, and he's, I guess, thinking I'm yelling at him for instructions for what he's doing. But no, I'm like, you better call Mom, something's not right here. So she come back, took me up to the hospital, and the frickin', I know you guys might think in Canada, oh, you got it so good, you got free health care, but I'll tell you what, it's not. I wish I could have filmed the whole way through, because you guys would probably shake your head. It's just ridiculous. You go in there dying, and they're just like, take a number and sit down, sir. It's like, you know, unless you go in by ambulance here, they don't really look at you until they're ready. It sucks. So the whole ordeal, anyways, we'll go through the whole thing. It's a bit of a story, if I remember it all. Very interesting story. I'm going to have to get naked in a minute and show you something. Mostly, not below the belt, though. Just up here. Anyways, you'll see. And anyway, so I get there and I go walking in, and you got to do the COVID screening thing first. She asked you, have you been here? Have you done this? Been near anybody? I'm like, no. She's like, okay, take a mask and then go over there and take a number to that red ticket machine and sit down and wait until they'll call you in. I'm like, oh, okay. And so, you know, I go in, get a number, sit down. I'm like 134. I missed 129. I can't believe it. 134, and it was at like 127 or something. I'm like, oh my God, I'm sitting here. I didn't pass out or faint or nothing there waiting. But like the waiting room's only got like 4 chairs in it because, you know, they got to be 6 feet apart and all this crap. Holy jumping. So anyways, I finally get in and get into the triage there. The guy, some guy took over from the other girl, and this guy was a real dick, I thought. And he's like, what, you drank too much caffeine? It's like, dude, just freaking check me in. I'm like thinking like, if I could get up and pound you, I probably would right now. But you know what? Like, you don't need to be a dick about it. Somebody comes in for anything, you don't need to be a dick about it. You know, like holy jumping. But just backing up a little bit here, the guy that came in one or two behind me, he shot a nail right through his freaking, right. I'm not doing that to you guys, but you know, he shot a nail from a big framing nail. He says it double fired on me, and it, bang, and then I guess it come up and then bang, and nail right, it was like stuck right out. Oh, it wasn't bleeding or nothing, but I'm like, oh, that's nasty. But anyways, just wanted to tell you that. So anyways, this guy was being a real knob, and he's like doing all the blood pressure and crap and stuff and blah 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 blah. And then, what are you here for? And you know, of course, I told him, well, I'm having heart palpitations. I think I drank too much caffeine. I'm like, he's like, I don't think that would happen. Kind of think you could see that coming out of him, right? I'm like, okay. So then he's like, oh yeah, your heart's beating pretty irregular there. I'm like, yeah, I probably should get in. He's like, well, he does all the paperwork up and then gets all your information and gives you this clipboard. And then you got to go back out and go around and then register yourself. I'm like, what if someone couldn't do that? You know? So then I had to wait in a little waiting room again for at least 20 minutes, which wasn't bad comparing to what sometimes you wait. But I'm going to say it's like a 20-minute wait, and I'm like, whew, I'm like kind of, ooh, and I'm sweating and everything, and I'm like, something's not right. I don't normally sweat when I get these palpitations, right? Sweating like crazy, like not dripping off you, and I'm like, holy crap, it's pretty warm in there too. I guess I didn't help either. So anyways, they finally call my name, I go and register and blah, 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 and then she gives you the thing and then the actual form, and then you take it back to that triage nurse knob, and I guess it's there where it's like how important your call was, and he's like, okay, yeah, come right in. So they took me right into a bed, and then I got looked at pretty quick there. Then they're not, once you say kind of heart stuff, they get on you pretty quick, but there's a lot of stupid steps before that they shouldn't be doing like that. You know, it's pretty important to get your heart looked at. You could drop dead pretty much right on the floor there if they didn't, kind of thing. But anyway, so I got into the bed, looked at it there, and then the nurse come in. They did some blood pressure stuff, and of course it was fairly high. My blood pressure I thought was fairly high, but they're telling me now, no, that's actually good. I'm like, well, it's not 120 over 85. It was more like 155 over 98, which I didn't think was very good. But apparently when you're getting up to like 180 and like 200 is where it's starting to be considered like high. So I'm like, okay, that's still high to me. Need to shed a few of these girth pounds here, I think, this summer to help improve that, which I'm going to try my best to do. Anyway, it's another story there. So I'm waiting there, and I guess they're looking at the numbers and stuff, and they had me on the heart monitor with all those stupid sticky things, and they kept coming off because I'm such a fur ball. So I'm like, holy crap. So they got looking at the numbers, and they're like, yeah, your heartbeat is like very rapid. We're kind of concerned about that. I'm like, it's just the caffeine. I know it is. I don't think I have anything else going on here. Oh, don't know. This has got to be something different. I'm like, dude, I've done it before. You know, I don't want to tell him that he's not right, but he wasn't right. In the long run, he wasn't right. I knew what it was. anyways, another big story. So what they said to me is that the doctor come in, he's like, we're gonna put you out and shock you. I'm like, huh? Thinking, what? I don't know if I like that too much. He's like, oh, it's very, very safe. It's very safe. You won't feel a thing. You won't feel a thing. You won't feel a thing. I'm like, okay. So they're like, he's looking at me, we're gonna have to shave you though, because they have to put this great big patch on you. It's probably the size of the, big patch like this, stuck to you with the leads that go into it, and then one on your back too that the leads go into or come through. And he's like, yeah, I already had this thing in. They were giving me some saline there too, just to kind of hydrate me a bit, I guess, to see if it flushes any turds out or whatever. And it didn't really help. But anyway, so yeah, I got the IV line in that hand. It's been in there for like 2.5 freaking days, and it's nice to get that out, but I still got this on for a reason. I'll tell you that in a minute. Anyway, so the going out part, it's the very first time I've ever been like, what do you call it? Chemically put out, I guess we'll say. Chemically put out. And yeah, it was a different experience. He's like, oh yeah, just think of a happy place and you'll just go right there. I'm like, oh, yeah, no doubt. It's like, you only be out for about 5 or 6 minutes. We'll zap you and then you'll come right back out of it again. And I did. Actually, it was weird because I'm laying there and I could see him like working, you know, down on my thing there, and I could see that it was a big syringe like this long, great big fat syringe like this long, full of like this milky white stuff. And I'm like, okay. They just did one guy like before too. He had the same deal, and they did him too, and they had to give him actually 2 of those and shock him, I think, twice. But it was kind of interesting because I'm like, well, I can pretty much understand what they're gonna do to me now, because I could hear the, you know, okay, and administer blah 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 blah. He's out, and they're like, we'll say his name was John. John. He didn't reply or respond, so they're like, okay, he's out. So they whooped the machine up, and it just kind of sounded like a big camera flash going off, really. But I was asking the one nurse about it there, and she, when they were about to do me, and she's like, oh well, no, they don't just zap you. They actually wait until your heart's at that one point, and the machine does it for you, just boom like that. You know, it's not like he's sitting there like, good enough, you know. So it all went good, but it was weird. It was just like this, like I'm like sitting there and I see him putting it in, and it just kind of went maybe darker than that, but, and then all of a sudden I see Bill, or what do you call me, William, I think it was Bill, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, okay, you're back. I'm like, did it work? The first thing I said, did it work? He's like, yeah, do you feel it? And it was down from like 155 beats per minute down to 65, where it should be kind of down to. So that went good, and I've been fine ever since. They put me in for 2 days. Yeah, 2 days, 2 nights. Frickin' beds were terrible. It was like sleeping on the floor. It might as well have been sleeping on the floor. Plus, they have it like really hot in there for all the older people, so it's like really hot and hard to sleep in there. And then you've got their, you know, where the nurse's station is, and they're all carrying on. Oh, so what are you doing this weekend? It's like 2 o'clock in the frickin' morning, and they're yakking about that. I'm like, you guys don't realize how loud you are out there when you're trying to sleep. It really sucks. Plus, you know, there's little printers going for printing stuff off that they're doing for other patients, and then just a whole bunch of other noises. They're moving stuff around and dragging stuff down the floors and just walking in and wanting to take your blood pressure like every couple hours, and it's like, holy crap. I had a monitor on too, so I had like a special gown on that had a hole through it, and then a pocket in the front. I had to wear like the Holter monitor thing for like this whole time. So here's the zappy shot though. I'm gonna get naked now. Let me just get this camera down a little bit here. Here's the zappy spot, so they shave you right off right here. You can actually still see it. Hang on a sec, I get you down more. Oh geez, breaking the thing. You can, well, I don't know if you can see it, but down here there's like a circle thing here where it kind of goes in, I guess. Let's see if we can maybe zoom in on my boobs. So there's a like circle thing there. That's where they zap you through the front, and then there's one on the back too, and that sucked. That really sucked. Let me tell you, it was not fun. But I'm glad I didn't feel it. But it's the anticipation of it before, you know, and once you're out, it's like, ooh, yeah. But my chest actually still hurts a bit right there. Kind of like someone just went really hard on your chest. And it's just kind of hurts every once in a while. I guess I know they gave the guy 100 joules, whatever that is. I don't think it was diamonds or emeralds or anything. It's something to do with the power. And I guess that's, I don't know, a fair bit or not. Any medical people might know if how much that was. So yeah, but anyway, so that was my adventure for the last couple of days, and I had an echocardiogram, which was like an ultrasoundy kind of thing where they take the probe and they're like, you know, down, and then he's like on the machine measuring stuff, beep beep beep, you know, and he does on the side and tries to get your whole area there of your heart area and stuff, and I'm like, well, they're gonna look and see if there's anything blocking anything in there, if that was maybe a cause. And the doctor was supposed to come in yesterday, the day before I got actually discharged, and he didn't. I'm like, oh man, I want to go home because this bed's terrible and there's no sleep, and that sure doesn't make you feel good when you can't get comfortable and you can't sleep. That's freaking terrible. So anyways, we saw the doctor today, and he says, I'm going to score you a 0 on all your tests. I'm like, oh, that's not good. He's like, no, that is good. Any number, the way they scored here, I guess, any number is not good, you know. Your blood pressure is good. It seemed to stay where it was all the time. And your heart rate never changed from over, you know, it might have peaked to 70 at some points there, and that was it for the whole time after we had shocked you. And your echocardiogram came out perfect. So I'm like, okay, well, that's, I guess, a good thing. So he's like, stay off the caffeine. That's what he says to me. I'm like, I knew it was that. I told you, you know, and well, you got to do your testing. I understand that, but I told you it was too much caffeine. So whew, iced cappuccinos, the mediums, they have like 200 milligrams of caffeine in them. That's a lot. That's a lot for a little drink that's only like this tall, you know, small, and it's not that much really. And it's like, yeah, we're not doing any more of those. Why do they have to taste so good? I do like the flavor of them, but I can't do them anymore. So might not even be able to do coffee anymore. Tea maybe, but I'll probably just do like a decaf tea kind of thing. Apparently green tea has, and I like green tea, and it has a lot of caffeine in it. So I'm like, holy jumping, it's like caffeine in everything. So, but anyways, that was my adventure I thought I'd share with you from the last couple of days. And I do have some saved up videos from some work on the 800 here too. We're going to plop up here as well. So anyways, thanks again for listening, and it's good that I'm home and not dead. And boy, I sure thought I was going in the hole there the other day. And no, all it was the caffeine. I just don't think my body metabolizes it fast enough to get rid of it again. And it's kind of staying there, and it builds up, and it just freaks the heart out, you know, and it's just like all over the place. So my nephew actually had the same problem. Too much chocolate. It's got a lot in chocolate too. Anything like that, chocolate. Oh man. Funny enough though, Tim Hortons hot chocolate has very, very little caffeine in it, but piles of sugar. That's the other bad part, right? Piles of sugar. So it's like, do you want caffeine or do you want sugar? It's like, you can't really have anything from there if you're looking, you know, consciously looking at stuff. It's terrible. But anyways, that's it for today. I just wanted to give you that little bit. Thanks again for watching. I used my newish camera. I don't really use this one. I've used it a couple times. It's actually my 4K camera. It's a Sony, hang on a sec. It's a Sony 4K camera, and it's hang on, I gotta flip this around because I can't remember the thing of it. It's FDR-AX53. It's a good camera, but it's a really big camera, and I think we tried it once before, and we didn't really like the microphone on it. So it might look for one of those hot shoe microphones. It's got that little slot on the top that you can run that. It's also got a little ring on the front of the lens here that you can adjust. Ooh. I thought it adjusted to focus actually, but it's such adjusts. No, I'm just kidding. That's interesting. I thought it did focus there. But anyways, it's a pretty good camera. I can probably show it to you here if I do this right. Oh, here's some of the food they fed me. It looks good, but it tasted really bad. That was dinner last night. Roast turkey and powdered potatoes and some really dehydrated, well, not dehydrated, really overcooked vegetables. That was lunch yesterday, which was a stuffed pepper that looked like it come out of the back of a cow, and some of them cauliflower things, which were really overcooked. And there's me sitting in the ER with all the crap on me just after they zapped me. Send my picture to my wife. You had to have your mask on the whole time. So anyways, what was I going to show you? Oh yeah. I was going to show you this camera. I got off topic a little bit. So this is you looking at me. So you can see the size of the, it's a big feller. And I don't know if I like I think we had a problem about the microphone on it. So I'm going to get one of those hot shoe ones that clips on the top, and then it'll be a little better. Because I think this one's weird. It's got the microphone like there, but here, I'll tap it. It's on the top of the camera, which kind of doesn't capture the sound too well. But anyways, there we go. That's it for today. Thanks again for watching. I'm still alive. I'm not dead. And thank goodness for that, because I wouldn't want to have to dig my own grave. I don't think that would work. But anyways, I was just dreading. I'm like, oh God, if I die here, Dylan's going to have to do that for me, or whatever is going to happen to my rotting corpse after. I don't know what they'll do with me, but probably throw me in the lake, let the fish pick at me. They'll be all right too. But anyways, thanks again for watching. We'll catch you all later, and you guys have a good day. I'm taking a few days off, even a week probably, but I got some videos here from last week there from the 800. I think there's 2 of them. Something like that. I'll put those up for you too, though. And maybe do some video gameplay, just low-key, not doing too much kind of stuff right now. So thanks again for watching. We'll catch you all later, and you guys have a good day.